Welcome back, beer tubers. Today we're taking a look at a beer from Stone, and this is part of their Stochasticity project. This is Varna Necropolis. If you didn't notice, the Stone kind of did this clever Stochasticity project, the Grapefruit Slam IPA, which is basically ruination with grapefruit. It's like this hidden kind of brand, and then they've come out and realized, hey, it's actually Stone. Anyway, this is the second in the series. This is a hoppy Belgian ale aged in bourbon barrels, and I think it's like 30 bourbon barrels. It's hopped with Simcoe and Amarillo, and they say they're using the French Saison strain of yeast, and it's just pale malt, flaked oats. Pretty simple beer. Sounds different. Never had anything quite like this, a hoppy Belgian pale ale aged in bourbon barrels. Pours out a very clear, filtered, golden color, bright white head. Pretty good carbonation on there. This glass doesn't retain the head of the beer that well, but as you can see, it swirls right up. Some alcohol legs. It's 8.6% ABV. Let's get the aroma. Oh yeah, that is interesting. You're definitely getting that spicy, fruity Saison strain. Simcoe Amarillo, so sweeter orange, kind of mandarin orange. Sort of get a little bit of that sort of peachy note. You know, some sweeter ruby red grapefruit notes. But there's also some like apricot. You get a little bit of a wood characteristic. A little bit of oak coming through. I mean, maybe just a hint of bourbon. Not a whole lot. It smells very refreshing type of beer. I don't know how long they aged this in the barrels, but if I remember reading right, they're using like third use barrels with it. Anyway, I don't want to read all through this, so let's dive in. Cheers. Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, I'm picking up more barrel on the flavor than I did on the aroma. Yeah, that's it. I saw a comment about this beer saying it's probably the only refreshing beer they've had that's been aged in a bourbon barrel. And I might have to agree with that. I know there's been some IPAs aged in bourbon barrels, and those can be refreshing. But this one just has that extra Belgian dry, crisp sort of character to the beer that does make it nice and refreshing. Up front, you get a slight bit of bitterness. Then you get the nice hop flavors coming through. Peach, apricot, ruby red grapefruit, sweeter mandarin orange type notes. A lot of that midway through. There's some sweetness from the malt as well. Sweeter bread. You started to pick up maybe a little bit of what might be like a bourbon characteristic, like a little bit of a slight like caramel note. Good mouthfeel. They're using those oats, so it makes it nice and creamy. So the finish on the beer has that nice spicy character from the French Saison yeast. That sort of peppery, kind of clove characteristic. Plays well with the nice bit of oak you're getting. You're getting some oak tannins on the finish as well. So those kind of play together pretty nicely on the finish, and it dries out. There is a good amount of sweetness up front and dries out nicely. Not a whole lot of lingering aftertaste either. If I dig deep, start picking up a little bit of that vanillin character you get from the oak. Kind of hides in there with a touch of an alcohol characteristic too. Not a lot, just slightly warming beer. Can't really smell it or taste it a whole lot. So it's a very interesting beer. I think people were wondering what Stone was going to do once the Vertical Epic series was finished, and I'm guessing this is sort of what they're replacing it with, because I know there's more in the works. I know they have a huge barrel program going these days, and they're going to be doing a lot more barrel-aged beers. But this kind of, you know, it's the Belgian-style base, but they're playing around with their barrels now. So I don't know what else we'll see in the Stochasticity project from them, but I mean, because we've already had an IPA with fruit, and then now we're getting this Belgian golden ale. It's, you know, hoppy, Stone-style hoppy, but with the bourbon barrels. So I'm sure there'll be some more interesting beers coming out. I enjoy this one quite a bit. I'm going to go B. I think it's really solid. We're checking out a bottle. I'm not sure how it'll age, because it does have a good hop character right now. Yeah, and it doesn't have like a huge bourbon characteristic. So I would say this beer is probably going to be better fresh. So pick up a bottle and drink one as soon as you see it. So it's going to wrap up this review. Until next time, please comment and subscribe. Cheers.